Hello and a warm welcome to you, my esteemed viewers and listeners. Welcome back to our English language class. Remember that the channel is Alfonso de Rothschild's Tutorials, and the mission of this channel is to help all of us as second speakers of the English language to have a better grasp, a better understanding, a more efficient use of this language so that we'll be able to transact our businesses and engage in our personal and group concerns with more ease of speaking, and also interact with people across all linguistic backgrounds, but who have some knowledge of the English language in such a way that there will be mutual understanding among all that are concerned. My name is Ogochukwuonuoha, and I am your usual instructor. For some time now, our focus has been turned towards understanding the tenses of the English language better. If you go back through the videos we had in the past, we have analyzed the various aspects of the present tenses and the past tenses. And today, our discussion is tailored towards helping us to have a better appreciation of how to use the future tenses. So today's lesson is titled Understanding Future Actions. What are future actions? These are actions projected for the future, or actions planned for the future, or actions that will take place in the future anyway, whether anybody plans for them or not. At the present time, we're always thinking about the past, about what we did in the past or what we failed to do in the past. While at once, we keep projecting towards the future, we keep planning towards the future, and we keep looking forward to events that will happen in the future, whether they have been planned by us, by some other persons or not. So, it is important in our writing and speaking of the English language that we understand how to manipulate verb patterns so that they can fit in with these various forms of tenses. So, if you want to express a past action, you need to know how to conjugate your verbs to agree with a past pattern so that your listener will understand that what you speak is referring to a past action. In my career as an English language educator for the past 3 decades, I have heard Nigerians consistently make sentences like, I used to go to church every Sunday, or I used to go to church on Sundays, or he used to visit us every weekend. And from the point of view of a grammarian, the speaker has said that he or she no longer goes to church, or that they no longer go to church, or that the person referred to in that sentence no longer visits us. He used to visit us means he has stopped visiting us. So it takes me back a little. It takes me some time to pull myself together to realize that what the speaker who says he used to visit us means is that somebody visits them frequently. But the wrong tense has been used, because the verb used to, a modal auxiliary verb, is past tense permanently. It doesn't have a present form, it doesn't have a future form. It is only used to talk about an action that no one still does at present. An action people did frequently in the past, or someone did frequently in the past, but which the person or the people have stopped doing. So you understand what I mean. Now, frequently, in a school setting, a student reports to school, a student who has been absent for some days for one or two reasons or the other, and the teacher asks, "Hey, Sandra, how come you weren't in school the other day?" And Sandra says, "I am sorry, sir. I am sorry, madam, but I am sick." Now the teacher realizes immediately, by way of a correction, that by "I am sick," the student means "I was sick." Because "I am sick" present means that is my situation at the present time. But "I was sick" implies I am no longer sick, but that was the case in the past. So the student who is asked, "How come you've been absent from school for 2 days?" now responds, "I am sorry, sir. I am sorry, madam. I am sick." The student means "I was sick," but has used the wrong tense, the incorrect tense, because the tense used "I am" implies that it is a present situation, which it is not. So, without further ado, let us talk about how to express actions in the future. The verbs that I have here, shall and will, are the most traditional ways of expressing future actions. In other words, in traditional English language or orthodox English language, people say shall do something or will do something when that means that these actions are planned for the future. The verb shall and will, which are modal auxiliary verbs, are joined by an infinitive. Please refer to our previous discussions. Are joined by an infinitive or present infinitive. The infinitive is the base form of a verb. The base form. The form of a verb when changes in tenses have not taken place. So, shall goes with the infinitive of the lexical part of the verb. The main part of the verb that expresses an action goes with shall or will to talk about what will happen in the future. Now let me give you an example. I shall think of your proposal. I shall think of your proposal. We will ask Ike to put some music together. I shall think of your proposal. 2. We will ask Ike to put some music together for the occasion. So let us take a look at the verbs. We'll ask, shall, think. The second part of each of the verbs is the infinitive. So the infinitive in number 1 is think. And the infinitive in number 2 is ask. Shall and will are the auxiliary parts. Now let us take a look at the two sentences and what they purport to mean. There are various shades of meanings. Various shades of meanings in Orthodox English when we talk about shall do something or will do something. Shades of meanings that in modern use of English people often take for granted, or possibly most of the times because out of ignorance people really don't know this. Because I shall do and I will do not have the same interpretation when we talk about meaning. Now when we talk about semantics, shall, do, will do don't mean the same. I shall think of it is not the same in meaning as I will think of it. But in our everyday use of English, we tend to blur or mix these up, and because both the speaker and the listener often do not care or understand the differences, it goes on unnoticed. Of course, this is strictly for the grammarian. Let us go on. We talk about future probability, and we talk about future with promise or with willingness. It is a difference between shall and will. Then I must add quickly that because of these differences, especially in modern English, the use of shall to express a future action is becoming more formal and is less in use than will. If I say to someone, I shall think of it, what I have expressed is called future probability. That means I may or may not think of it. It is not a promise. There is no willingness attached. There is no an undertone of willingness to what I have said. I have not made a promise to my listener. However, if I say, I will think of it, the listener is to understand that I have made a promise or I have expressed my willingness to do something. That's the difference. So I shall do something implies a probable action. That is one that may or may not happen. There is no commitment to take any action on the part of the speaker. However, I will carries an undertone of promise. So I will pay you a visit should make you go home and start preparing for a guest. Because I have expressed a willingness, I have expressed a promise to do something. But if I say, I shall pay you a visit, what I mean is, well, I may not, it depends. There's no promise. So if I fail to come, you don't hold me responsible for giving you a promise which I fail to promise, a promise that I fail to fulfill. So between sentence 1 and 2, number 2 carries some seriousness of intention, some seriousness of will, some seriousness of promise, which number 1 does not carry. I will ask Ike to put some music together for the occasion. The speaker, then we will ask Ike. The speakers have made a promise or have expressed a willingness to discuss the music parts of the occasion, the music feature of the occasion with Ike. That is shall and will. So we can now go on. Let us talk about various examples of shall and will used in modern English and their meanings. Example 3. If we say, on Thursday, it says, on Thursday, my nephew will turn. My nephew will turn 10, 4, I shall be 12. I shall be 12 years old on Wednesday next week. Both sentences 3 and 4 express a future action. Now, future action, to which we frequently attach the word simple. Simple future action means an expression of an event we expect to hold in the future. Whether I live or not, whether I am alive or not, my birthday will still come and go. So when I say I shall be 12 years old on Wednesday, I am talking about an event that will come to pass. So it is called a simple future tense. Number 3 says, on Thursday, my nephew will turn 10. The same. My nephew will be 10 years old on Thursday. The sentence also, that the verb will turn, also expresses a simple future tense. So you can see from what we said ab initio that the simple future tense has no undertone of willingness, has no undertone of promise, has no undertone of intention. Like the first 2 sentences that we analyzed. So the simple future tense simply talks about an event over which we have no control. It will come to pass at this time in the future, whether we like it or not. So the speaker who says, I shall be 12, is not making a promise to be 12. He has no control of it. He simply talks about the fact that his birthday will come and pass at a particular day in the future. And when someone says, my nephew will turn 10, it is the same. The speaker is not responsible for making his nephew or her nephew turn 10. It's an event, a future event that is expected. Let us go on. In our next sentence, if we say, number 5 says, John will assist Sarah with her homework. The speaker means, I know he is willing to do so. I know he is willing to assist Sarah. It is the speaker's intention, good intention, that he expresses. And because the speaker believes that this is what John will do, so he says John will. He knows that John is going to do so. Number 6 says, the Jones sisters will play host to us tomorrow. That is, they have expressed the intention to do so. They have expressed the willingness to do so. They have expressed the promise to do so. This is not a simple future action. It is a promise to do something. There is this undertone of willingness to do so in the mind or in the speech made by the Jones sisters, which the speaker has reported here. 7 says, Sonny will accompany me to the building site. He has said so. Will accompany. Sonny will accompany me to the building site. He has said so. That is, Sonny has made a promise. That's will accompany. Sonny has expressed an intention or a willingness to accompany me to the building site. So let us see what we have said so far. When we use shall to express the future tense, to express a future action, we mean probably. We're expressing a probability that an action will take place. So probability means may or may not. So there is no commitment attached to the speech. But if a speaker says, I will, we will, he will, she will, they will, you will, the speaker is expressing a willingness on the part of the person spoken about. A willingness, a promise to do something in the future. Now let us go on. It is necessary, like I have outlined on the board, that you understand that when a future action is being expressed in English language, both in modern and in Old English, that shall can be used only by the first person pronoun, singular or plural. The first person plural, we shall, or we will. The first person singular, I shall, or I will. So both we and I can use shall or will. But the other subjects, that's the pronouns, you, he, she, they, and it, can only go with will to express a future action. A sentence in English language that says, you shall, he shall, she shall, it shall. A sentence in English language that has the pronouns you, he, she, they, and it, and shall to express an action is not a future action. It is no longer expressing a future action. So these pronouns and the nouns they represent can't use shall to express a future action. The meaning of you shall, he shall, she shall, they shall, it shall is not what we will discuss here in detail. But it is enough to say that it does not express future. It means must. Shall, used in this way, means must. And it is used to give a command. It does not mean future. It is used to say this is what must happen. For instance, if you go to the Holy Bible, to the Ten Commandments, you will see shall very much. You shall not do this, you shall love your God, the Lord your God, and all that. You shall not steal, you shall not kill. Those sentences are not expressing a future action. They are saying you must not. You must not. So, we will not be making sentences like this here where we're talking about expressing future actions. They are not future. The other use of shall in this manner, with these pronouns, is when a superior, usually a superior person, is trying to say that a subordinate or a junior person, someone junior in rank, must do something. Someone, let me give you an example. A father, for instance, referring to a son or daughter who is trying to decline going to school for a particular reason, and the man says, she's been dilly-dallying, or she's been delaying, she's been reluctant getting prepared for school this morning. Whatever is the reason, I want to tell her, she shall go to school today. She shall. The man means she must go to school because I have the authority, the power to force her to do so if it becomes necessary. That is not a future action. The man is simply saying something that must happen. I am sure I have clarified that point. So we may now move on. So let's now talk about the other future actions in general, apart from the ones we have illustrated on the board. Let's talk about actions planned for the future, usually with a willingness to do or the absence of it. We've already had some examples. So if we have an example that says, it says Sheila will be here soon, so we need to get ready. The speaker is aware that Sheila's coming is a promise, or there is willingness on the part of Sheila to come. So she reports it. She said Sheila will be here. She's expecting Sheila in the near future. Bremo will lead the group. Bremo will lead the group to visit the school authority. That is because Bremo is willing to do so. So it expresses the willingness or the intention or a promise, a commitment on the part of Bremo to do so. Number 3 says, the boys, or we could use the pronoun for the boys there. The boys will join the Boy Scouts in the next jamboree. That is the willingness. It expresses the willingness of the boys to join the Boy Scouts in the next jamboree. So we take a look at this sentence 4. It makes a statement and ends with a question tag. It says, you will have a haircut, won't you? You will have a haircut, won't you? The speaker is asking for the willingness of the listener. It means, will you have a haircut? Let me know. Compare this to, you shall have a haircut, said by a mother to her daughter, who seems unwilling, and the mother is saying, I have the authority to do so. You shall have a haircut. That is no longer simple future action, but it is a must. The mother is saying, this is what must happen because I have the authority to make you do so. So in our example so far, we have expressed simple future action. Remember that I said that the simple future action is one that will come to pass, whether anybody plans it or not, because no one has a control over it. So if we say, it will rain later today, it says, it will rain later today as the sky is overcast. The speaker has made this statement on the basis of what he or she has observed in the sky. The sky is overcast gives the speaker the impression, gives the speaker the inkling that it might rain. So when he says it will rain later today, he is not making a statement of fact. He is saying it is likely to rain. It is likely to rain, going by the weather being overcast, or going by the nature of the weather. What if it doesn't rain? Will anybody say the speaker made a promise that it will rain? No. The speaker has simply expressed a future probability. It will rain. Apart from future probability, which I said we can express using I and shall, and we and shall, but will with the other subjects. Apart from future probability, we can now talk about future with willingness, or future with promise, which I talked about earlier on. But let us take a look at this. I shall tell Frank what I think about the issue. We shall gather in the auditorium. In both these two sentences, 6 and 7, the speakers have not made a promise to do anything. They have not expressed a willingness or a commitment to do anything. but they have simply expressed a simple future tense probability. They have said this is what will happen, or this is what may happen or may not happen. However, if we change shall to will for both number 6 and number 1, there will be a promise. There will be an intention to do something. There will be a commitment. So if we say, I will tell Frank, then that means I have the willingness. I'm expressing a promise to do so. And if we say, we will gather, we are expressing a commitment or a promise or a willingness to do so. So there is simple future tense. Simple future tense. When we are talking about an event that will come to pass or will not, that may or may not come to pass. Good. And in that example of such an event, shall go with I and we. With the other pronouns or subjects, will be taken, but not shall. Good. Now, for all the pronouns, will is used when there is a promise, when there is a commitment to do something. I guess I have been able to drive the meaning of simple future tense and future probability and future with willingness or future with commitment. I hope I've been able to drive it home to you effectively. Because if that is the case, then we must continue with the future actions. We have not finished it. We just made the introduction. Now I'd like to point something out before we move on to the next segment of our discussion. In some of the sentences we made, you will discover, for instance, their next jamboree, soon, and in a few other of the sentences. These words or group of words are examples of adverbials. Sometimes an adverbial has to go with the verb that expresses the future action to tell us exactly the time when the action is to take place, or is planned to take place, or will not take place in the future. The adverbial does not make the future tense. What makes the future tense is the verb. Shall or will, that is, shall or will followed by an infinitive makes the future. So without the adverbial, you can still express the future tense, except that it is necessary once in a while to say, tomorrow I will travel to Onitsha. If you say I will travel to Onitsha, it is okay. We know that it is an action plan for the future, but we don't know when in the future. But if you add tomorrow, that is the adverbial, you are telling us when in the future. So in the next segment of our discussion, we shall be laying special emphasis on these adverbials, words or group of words that go with the verb to talk about a time frame in the future when an action is built to take place. Let us go on. I know you have questions or you have observations to make. Please drop your comments on the comment section. Your observation, or tell me what you think we can do to improve our videos and our lessons. And please remember to give a thumbs up to this video. Share the video so others can also avail themselves of it, and subscribe to this channel so that you can be receiving our video firsthand in your inbox. So we can go on now. We have talked about how to express future actions in the traditional way. Shall followed by an infinitive, will followed by an infinitive. But having learned that, for the sake of variety, there are a couple other ways of also saying that something will happen in the future without having to say it shall or it will, as the case may be. One of such ways is to use going to, and in English grammar it is called intention. Call it intention or future intention. When you say going to, you mean you are willing, or someone is willing to do something. In fact, the decision to do it and the commitment behind it have all been put into place. The action will come to pass. So, if I say, it says Lillian is going to. Lillian is going to say yes to Edward's proposal. Suddenly, Lillian must have told me or intimated me with her decision to say yes. So I am quite sure that she has the willingness to do so. There is the intention to make it happen in the future. That's why I say Lillian is going to say yes to Edward's proposal. So each time a speaker in English says going to, that means the future has an intention behind it. Say, my granny is going to. My granny is going to travel to the UAE to spend time with my uncle's family. My granny intends, that's what it means. She has the intention to do so, to embark on this journey. Sentence 3 says, George and Rose are going to have their vacation in Paris. Are going to. So, with the increase of the subject from Lillian and my granny, which are singular, to George and Rose, which is plural, the verb also changes from is. That is, the auxiliary verb also changes from is to are. 4. Number 4 says, we are going to have a jolly soiree next week. Take a look at next week. It's an example of the adverbial that I talked about before. This is an adverbial phrase of time. In this series, modifying the verb are going to tell us what time in the future we intend to have a jolly soiree. A soiree is an evening party. Five, tomorrow I am going to speak with Coach Janet. Intention. I intend to speak with Coach Janet tomorrow. Sentence 6 is a question, but it is still in future. Going to. It says, are you going to ask Frances for a date, Clara? The noun is Carl. The name is Carl. It says, are you going to ask Frances for a date, Carl? So someone is asking Carl whether he's got the intention, a future intention to ask Frances for a date. I'd like to thank you, my treasured viewer, my most esteemed listener. Remember that I am here because you are there, and I appreciate every moment you have spent here with me. The reason why I'm here is because of you and I, because I am passionate to have all of us get better in communication and the English language. If you have joined our session today, like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be telling more of your friends about what we're doing here, and these friends, hopefully, will also join the bandwagon. That way, the culture of speaking impeccable, untarnished English in Nigeria and elsewhere in Africa will have a positive change. Thank you very much. I'll invite you to join me on our next video, where we'll still be concretizing, where we'll still take one more step towards better understanding future actions. Thank you very much and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.